And hello, the hidden benefits of appearing on podcasts. Hi, my name is Dennis Langlais, and I'm glad to make this video for you here today. I want to share with you, number one, podcasting. What is it all about? There's three things in podcasting. There's listening, hosting, and guesting. And starting out with listening, you believe it or not, only about 20% of the people out there understand or even know that podcasts exist. They have, they have these phones and they have podcasting on it. They don't even know what that icon is and how to use it. So I want to let you know that if you have some hobbies out there or something you want to learn, it's very likely that that little purple button on your iPhone can lead you to a great educational experience. It's a radio show or shows or thousands of shows that are related to different topics. So if you're into podcasting, you might find a podcasting. If you're into lawnmowers, you might find a lawnmower podcast. If you're into social media, you might find a social media or comedian or inspirational. There's so many thousands of podcasts you can listen to, and it's really amazing. And there's also hosting them. So a lot of people have taken up the opportunity of hosting their own podcast. So in my case, I have a few different podcasts. I have an inspirational one and an entrepreneur's podcast and different things. You can just go on and just chat about what you want to chat about. So, and you can be niche specific. So if you have a certain industry you want to just talk about, this is the perfect place to share your knowledge. And lastly, there's guesting on podcasts. And I want to kind of go into that here today because if you're watching this, likely you might be a business owner and you're always looking for new ways to expand your business and get out there and get more sales, right? So in the old days, when I was a little tyke, we only had a very few channels you could go to. There was basically TV shows and radios, and it was a little tricky to get on these things, right? You had to really kind of nudge your way in. But today, in this day and age, because of podcasting, you can find specific shows to the specific things you want to guest on, and you can share your knowledge, basically give people advice on being in your niche market. So if a problem you might solve or some inspiration you want to give, you can go and do this with podcasting and help you spread the message of your business. So I want to talk about that today, guesting, and I'm going to start out with why podcasts. Why would you want to use marketing for your business and podcasts? And the number one big reason, I'm going to kind of reiterate this all the way through this video here today, is it's free. It is free, 100% free for you to do that. So number two is you can create visibility and build your reputation. You will be getting high profile backlinks to your website. Okay, that's really cool. We'll touch on that as well. High pressure practice sharing your message. Okay, I love talking about this one. I'm going to share a lot about this because as a professional athlete, this would have been great. So ultimately, you can use them to grow into speaking roles. So I know that's kind of getting ahead of the horse here, but in the end, one of the number one best ways of selling a product is being on a stage and selling. So really good. So we'll lead to that in a little bit. So visibility, profile links, high profile backlinks to your website, and a great place to practice. And ultimately you can get into speaking from podcasting. So let's move on. The free things about it. Well, you have free access to a niche market, right? So today I want to do some marketing, and I have several different email lists that I have, but each one was accumulated on a different subject, right? So I can't just say a blanket email to them all and make it effective. So I have to kind of create separate websites. We call them funnels, and separate emails to get people to interest, because those interests, each one of those lists have different interests. So each podcast has a different listener that is interested in certain things. So they're niche audiences, and they're free. They're free. Real-time practice. You get to speak about your own business, share your message, and practice it for free. I mean, some of us hire coaches for thousands of dollars to help us get clear on message. You can go and just get yourself on a bunch of podcasts, practicing your message over and over again. Free content creation. Okay. If you are in business, you know how expensive and tedious that is. Content creation is. Every podcast you go on, they will create content for you and distribute it for you. And that's really neat too. Lastly, free links to your website and social media. They will send links to your website to share your information, and it's all free. So, visibility and reputation. Let's talk about this here today. Number one thing that really happens as you grow yourself in podcasts, or we call visibility or influencer, is you get to increase your fees. You're, say, charging $1,000 for a package right now. You can 10x that to $10,000 based on your influence. It's incredible how this changes. And you see it a lot in legal practices, automotive shops. You know, you say they're a high end, there's different pricing. So also, as you grow your audience and become an influencer, you have a sounding board. You can sound off different ideas, different things you want to create or do, or problems you want to solve. You can ask your followers, and they will give you back awesome information that'll speed you up to getting to the results you want to give to your audiences. So this one right here is influencer versus not, and getting clients. So if you're an influencer and the competitor, let's say you have a contract you're bidding for and you're an influencer and your competitor is not, well, it's easier for you to say, you know, let's say you sell, lawnmower blades. So, and, you know, I was just speaking on this podcast about the latest blade we're talking about. You can share that podcast, give them a link. Or, hey, you know, you can Google me at any time and find some information. So if they Google you, there'll be hundreds of links up there of you sharing your message on different radio shows across the country and across the world. I have to say that you have just tripled your chances of getting those contracts because of this influence. You can also be recommended, okay? Recommended by the host, recommended by listeners. So listeners might not be you're looking for what you have, but they might know somebody. So the host may know a number of different people or have somebody on the show and say, yeah, you know, on my last show, I had Dennis on. He was talking about podcasting. You should contact him. I'll get you his information. So it increases your chance of getting recommended. Having this visibility and creating this reputation really plays a big play in increasing sales in your business. I talked about the high profile backlinks earlier. What do you want to do with these links is pretty awesome. So these links are basically this simple. If you're not familiar with backlinks and SEO, the more links you have to your website, the more chances of you ranking higher or being searched easier in Google or any kind of search engine. So the more links and the more relevant content you have on your website and on the subset website, so any other website pointing to your website, it makes it a lot easier for you to rank better in Google. So let me explain how search engine ranking works. You have links that link to your page, and you also have relevant content. So if you are appearing on a podcast and you're talking about lawnmower blades, right? And then you have a lawnmower blade website, you'll notice that you will certainly have awesome relevant content that'll work for you. So it'll help you gain, I'm telling you, incredible gains in the SEO world. So in my case, I used to have an SEO company or companies that I needed to rank high. So I would buy links or I'd be creating links. So it takes a lot of time. You have to create your own content. You have to make it relevant. You have to put it through this procedure and process to make sure that it's done correctly, or you can just buy them. And I would spend upwards to $500 a month buying links for my websites. And I'll tell you what, it did pay off. It definitely paid off. But in this case, being on a podcast, you will generally get 3 to 5 links, and we call them high profile links, and I'll talk about that in a second, to your website per episode that you do. So essentially you're cashing in on thousands of dollars of free content and free links by every podcast you are appearing on. And that's not a fluff number. That is real. You can do some research on Google and ask how much it costs for high profile links, and you'll see relevant content links cost a lot of money. Number 4, link hierarchy is similar to social hierarchy. So if you live in a small town, just to give an example, and you know the town mayor the lawyer, the policeman, you're likely to have better connections. You're likely not to get into trouble. You're likely to be more relevant in the town. You're popular. The same thing goes with being on the internet. Just think of each web page as a community or a person. If you know higher ranking websites, so if you have a .gov website or a whitehouse.gov or a Google, I shouldn't say Google, maybe Apple. If Apple did a feature story on you, you're likely to be ranking in the top 5 right away because they are now basically endorsing you. So think of every website or podcast in this case that you're on is endorsing you, right? Endorsements are huge, and Google uses this in a big way. So practice is perfection. This is my favorite part to talk about here today. And if anything I can convince you about podcasting is the practice you get of number one, real-time simulation. Being a professional athlete in many years, I would really try to simulate myself being in competition, putting that pressure on myself, because these runs that I would used to do were only 2 minutes long. I used to be an extreme sports bike rider. And the amount of energy that's exerted, the amount of attention, the amount of nervousness, the amount of fatigue that happens, it's really difficult in practice sessions to create that real-time simulation. So if you are in real-time simulation situations, talking about your business, sharing the message, really processing it, really sequencing it in a proper way, taking it into story, taking it into question, taking it into a close of a sale. So taking it through this process, understanding how to share your message very clearly so people understand it very quickly, and then moving them into problem and then moving them to solution with your products. Understanding that and mastering that is an art form that can only be practiced in real-time simulation. So I'll give you an example. You are going on a show and you are doing these things, and all of a sudden you want to go and practice this outside of podcasting. You want to do it in a mirror, you want to do something else. It's just not the same. There's nothing like being real time. So train in real time versus not real time. Again, you can be in front of a mirror or you can have a friend in front of you, but you can always stop. Like, for example, recording this, I'll be honest with you, I recorded it like 10 times. I screwed up some words or different things like that. I can always stop and record. But when you're doing a podcast, it's real-time simulation. Next thing is it builds confidence. Once you start saying things and doing things, it flows. You understand your message. You understand how to solve a problem. The questions you're being asked by the host, you're able to answer them much easier. All these things play into confidence, which then plays into sales. We all want to make sales. We all want to build followings. We all want to build influence. But when that confidence is instilled and placed, all that falls into place. Lastly, this practice, kind of like in the first one, real-time simulation, can also be brought to the stage. So once you're so confident and you're so clear on message, I encourage you is to jump on stage, start doing stage appearances, start being a speaker at events. And this place is a goldmine, and we'll talk about that next. In fact, if you go and speak from the stage and you sell something, a product or service, the average is over 30% of the room buys a product when you give the right speech. So if you're confident, you know your product inside and out, you relate it to the customer, you relate it to the audience, they will buy your product. So in the case of you have a $5,000 product, there's a room filled of 100 people or 200 people, do the math, right? You can make more money in one 90-minute presentation than most people can make in a year. Very powerful stuff. You're training yourself for this all for free. Next is face-to-face, all right? There's nothing better than face-to-face. People getting to shake your hand, talk to you in person. There's nothing more exciting than walking off a stage and a rush to the back of the room to buy your product, or a rush to the back of the room to learn more about you, thank you, all these things. The face-to-face that you get is amazing. So all of this can start with podcasting. All of it can start with learning your message, building your influence, Influence turns into speaking on stage. Once you get so confident and you know you're selling from stage, people will do what's called pay for play. They will literally buy stage time at big events. I'm giving an example. I'm in the online marketing space, and some of these guys will spend $10, $20, $30, $40,000 for a spot, a 90-minute spot on stage to sell their things. A friend of mine who's been on my show, well, I shouldn't say he's a friend, somebody who's been on my show, his name is Russell Blunson of ClickFunnels. He is successful at selling 3 to 4 million from stage. In fact, the last event he just held, ClickFunnels, called Funnel Hacking Live, he sold a $18,000 product and 600 people bought. It came up to something like $9 million that he sold, or 18 million, some crazy number, in 90 minutes. So pay for play is huge. Buying a stage in front of 1,000 people, and you know you're going to at least sell 30% of the room, right? Do the math. It's incredible. So 6-figure sales in 90 minutes. Before you know it, you're making more money than you made in the previous 2 years of your life. And all can start by working with podcasts, learning your message, and sharing it. Because, a lot of people come up to me and they say, how many people does your podcast have for visibility, right? And everybody's focusing on numbers. How many downloads? I have to disagree with that, everybody. I think it's more important for you to get out there and practice, utilize that real-time experience to get your message down. And that is going to far outweigh the experience of the download. Sure, you want to get sales. Yes, that's why you're doing it. The ultimate reason to get on podcasts is to get sales. But not every podcast is going to have a huge audience. And not every podcast is going to produce you sales. Let's just be straight and forward with that. Okay? When you perfect your message, you will definitely increase your chances of getting sales on podcasts. But I want to point out with this whole presentation is there's benefits far beyond the actual sale on a podcast. There's getting links. There's the practice. There's all these different things. You build influence, marketing, confidence, practice equals sales. It's a long game, and before you know it, you're on stages doing phenomenal sales. So today, you might be excited about being a podcast. Now you'll understand a little bit more of the benefits of it, right? So I want to help you out. And I'm going to give you a list of 400 podcasts. That's right, 400 podcasts. And you can download it for free. I'm going to give you a website to go to. And no strings attached. Grab that list of podcasts and start creating and researching and making a plan to reach out to them, okay? You can just start scheduling right away, almost instantly. You can grab that PDF, okay? And let me show you that PDF. It's really cool. It looks like this, and you're going to really love it. So let me find it here for you. It's, okay, here it is. And this is it right here. This is the web-based version, but this is all these podcasts. There's hundreds of them in here, okay? The list goes on. There's 998 podcasts in this, but the PDF you're going to get has 400 of them in it. It's awesome. All right. You got the name on there, the podcast, all the links work in the PDF, and reach out to these podcasts. That link, okay, is, let me get that for you, is free.codydog.com/free. Pretty easy, right? free.codydog.com/free. There's the link. Grab it, use it, free.codydog.com, and get your free 400 podcasts to reach out to right away. And the page will look like this. So if you get to that page, it looks like this. Click the link, drop your name in there, and you're off and running. You're going to get that podcast list, and you're going to love it. It's just so great. You can reach out to them. That's my gift for you guys listening today. I want you to benefit from podcasts, okay? Go out, use that. Please share your results with me as well. I'd love to hear how that all works out for you. Hey, Dennis, I reached out to some people and I got on some shows and it's working out really great. Awesome to hear all of that. So let's do that. So if some of you guys are out there and you're saying, you know what? Hey, Dennis, you gave me this great podcast PDF and, I don't really know what to do with this here. Sure, I can just start reaching out to them, but is there a process? Is there a shortened gap technique that you use. And yes, there is. There's certainly the right way and the wrong way to reach out to these people. I did include some of that information on the PDF for you, so some step-by-steps in there. But if you want to take things to another level, you want to be an advanced game member, okay, I have created a series, okay, that will put you through a process that will get you faster and more efficiently to not only get on the podcast, but to score home runs with them. Because you don't just want to get one, you want to get on many, right? So there's certainly a getting to know the host and different things you need to do. So what would that look like? Well, there is a cost for it, and I'll explain that later. But number one, I want to give you a questionnaire that you would fill out. You would complete a questionnaire, okay? And then we will do a one-on-one strategy session to you and me together, working through what you've put on that paper, and I'll help you understand how to clarify that message. You know, so many of us think we know how to speak our own message, but when we go and talk to other people, you really notice kind of like people keep asking questions. They don't really get it. They're like, what do you mean? You don't understand what I do? I do this. I do this. We're going to help you narrow that down and get that so it comes out clearly. Because if you're on a podcast, you can't be mumbling around. You have to be certain and you have to be clear. And that's important because if you got people listening, you know as well as me, the attention span of people these days is very short. And if you're not clear on message, then you're not helping the host and you're not helping yourself. In the end, we want to create influence and we want to sell. So we're going to take that message. We're going to incorporate that in some collateral, okay? We're going to make some really neat collateral for you to share your message. And one thing you'll need is a one sheet, okay? And this is my one sheet that's built inside of my software here. We will be creating all of this for you, and it'll include a video. And all the way down, all right, I've got some references there. I've got a fun phrase that I usually use, a little bio on myself, my little known little known thing, my little understood paragraph, everything that's changed in the industry, my achievements, the challenge, 4 great questions that people can ask me while I'm on a podcast, something surprising about me, all right, that I got on the Grant Cardone show. I share how I did that. That was really neat. And topics. You got to have topics to talk about. So if I give this to a podcast host, they're going to go, wow, this guy's got his act together. He's certainly a professional, and I want him on my show. So we create this one sheet for you. It's amazing. We'll work together and dial that all in, make it all professional. You can share it through you can share it through website. You can share it through text. You can share it through PDF. You can share it through email. Any way you want to share that, it's simply changeable and emailable. At any time you want to go in and edit it, no problem. You log into the software and you're on your way to editing it. Really cool stuff. So you'll have that. And also the collateral will also make, because you're on a website, because you're on a podcast, you will need to have a place for these people to go to. And you'll say, Dennis, well, I have a website. They didn't go to my website, abc.com. Well, I want to tell you right now, after interviewing over 300 guests out there, the pages that these people are sending them to are just not good at all. They're confusing and they're not specific to the point of the episode itself. So we create what's called a podcast funnel. Right here, it's all information pertaining to you, right? And the goals that we went over in that episode, all right? So again, down here, it looks kind of similar to the one sheet, but it's a little bit different. We're going to be talking about the problem we solve, the success we've had with clients, the takeaways, a special offer that you're going to give them, an offer link, your social media, any way they can contact you, and all the other podcasts you've been on. We have this thing called a podcast library. So once you start going on podcasts, you just enter them into the library and it always appears on your pages. So this is the podcast funnel page. And if we go over here to the one sheet page, you'll notice it automatically populates at the bottom of this as well. Really neat stuff. Really cool. So you'll get those. Also, you've got your collateral. Now we're going to start rehearsing. We're going to do some sample rehearsing together. And then when we get that mastered, we're going to create a video, a really cool video of you so that you have like a 20-second pitch. So when they click on it, they'll know exactly what you're all about, what you're going to talk about. And wow, people just love these. This is one of the best things I've ever done is create these trailers for people because they're so intimate. They're so exciting and they're so on point. You're welcome to go check out some of those trailers on my website, 5minutebark.com, of literally 300 guests that have used it. It's really, really cool. Next is we're going to create a reach out strategy. Okay. So we got our content available. We got our message clear. We got our video. We got a one sheet. Now we need to reach out to these podcasts. We're going to create a little strategy for you to reach out to them and begin the process of getting booked on podcasts. So the great thing is now that you've been booked on podcasts, we need to organize all the collateral, right? So I talked about how we're going to add all those podcasts, right, to all your thing. We have a collateral area in your software that we're going to show you and give you, and you can get in there and do that. Next is we have a sharing strategy, right? So we have to now share this with the world. We can't just rely on the podcast because we want to share this with everybody possible so that they see how brilliant you are and learn about your solutions. And it's just a great way to get more leads. So we're going to learn how to do that. We can increase your views. We can increase your listens and downloads by doing certain strategies. Okay. So this is the advanced game package, everybody. And this is a great way for you to advance yourself quicker. In other words, I've given you the PDF, right? You can go in there right now and start using them. All right. You can also upgrade right here today. All right. And get 1,000 podcasts right here. Once we've got you all dialed in, you'll have access in your software to 1,000 podcasts. So if I want to reach out to this podcast right here, I just click on this and it pops up an automatic email. Okay. Really simple right here. And let me get that. Let's see. The email. There it is. All right. An email straight to that person. It populates their name. All right. Right here. And text for you to edit, change around. Right. So all that's really done super simply for you. Right in the subject. Right here. All done. Literally, we added up. It saves over 100 hours of reaching out to people. It's absolutely awesome. So all of this happens right in the software for you. That's really, really cool. So with all of this, everybody, you can now take advantage of podcasts, get all this free stuff from taking advantage of these podcasts, all the links, all the experience, all the practice, getting your message clear. All these great things will get you where you want to go quickly and more efficiently. All right. The visibility you want, the links that you need, that you always have to consider when you want to be ranked in Google, the sharing of your message. All right. And eventually leading yourself to a speaking role. Message me if you're interested in learning more about this. I can offer this package to you today. We have special offers going on every time it changes. All right. So today, if you reach out, let me know, and I will give you a link to the page that'll explain all of this in more detail, and will get you up and running and going in the places you want to go. Let's build your business. Let's get cash in the bank. Let's make things happen in your business. And this way is tangible. You will get the assets you need, and they don't go away. They're going to be on the internet, and people will be searching for you. It's going to be great to just go to a restaurant and say, yeah, let me Google my name. And all of a sudden the people see all your friends see all these videos come up and all these iTunes links and all this stuff. It's just really amazing that you can take advantage of all these podcasts out there that talk about things that you are good at talking about. Again, my name is Dennis Langlais with the 5 Minute Bark Podcast. I've interviewed over 300 people, and I have taken the time to understand what works and what doesn't work. And that's why I'm sharing this with you guys here today. Take advantage of this. It's a big, big offer that can really help you out in a big way to get you where you want to go in the world of podcasting. So right now, go down, download your free directory of 400 podcasts. It's free. It's all yours. No strings attached. All right. It has a step-by-step guide in there. But if you want to take it to the next level, go ahead, contact me. We'll get you scheduled, and we'll start taking advantage of podcasts right away. I hope to see you soon. Again, thank you for joining me here today, and I look forward to hearing from you. Looking forward to hearing you on podcasts. I'm looking forward to, yes, Dennis, I landed my first sale from a podcast. Super exciting stuff. Thanks, everyone.